Yeah,
It's
maybe
really
give
hard
some
to do
insight.
so, right? I mean, well, there are always situations like it's getting conflict with your creative concepts to their business objectives or their internal users or counterparts comments, to be honest. So, I mean, at this moment, I would say it's rather easy to handle because my scale of business is still just a minimal scale. But I just date back to the days that I was working in big agencies, like there are creative teams, video teams where you involve a lot of like production crew, like directors and producers. Then you need to channel back those like difficult situations to all the team members, and then to get a mutual consent is very difficult. And so this is one point that I would like to share is talking about when you say no to clients, you really need to think whether you should say no or whether there are other options for you to counter propose to your clients. Because at the end of the day, the success of the success of the project, the video project, is not just determined by yourself. It's actually determined by a team spirit, a team, how the team can work all together, right? And I'm just thinking about like there's one time that we worked with a big client, a globally well-known financial company, financial client, a banking client. And then we do a lot of like videos for them. And then there's one time that the clients actually really didn't like the storyboard. And then we really need to redo everything, nearly redo everything at the pre-production stage. Luckily, we still haven't yet started to do the shooting. So everything ideally can still be manageable. But the situation is the storyboard has been running through like already like 5 or 6 times already. And the team is already burning out. Like, oh, you want me to restart again and then recraft again based on another brief? Oh, come on, man, something like that. So it's because what we're talking about right now, doing video is kind of like a people business, right? We need to work with different teams. We need to respect
Correct.
everybody's point of view. So once I got the feedback from the clients, I really need to sit down with the teams and then to understand where the teams are coming from, why we have this thought of like doing this storyboard. Uh, you need to be highly involved in the whole production situations where you need to work very closely with the teams, understanding their point of view, and then to see whether there are things that you can try to not asking the clients to sit down to talk to your production crew members, of course, but trying to put yourself into the client's shoes and then to say, hey, I really need to have something like this here. I really need to solve it out. How can I do this? Just something like you really need to sometimes bend down yourself and then just not back into them, but to let them know that this is your vulnerability moment. This is your moment that you need to let them know that, hey, I really have these difficulties, how I can do this. And then to let the teams know that if you want to move on, you really need to work facing these situations and then to think about solutions. So I mean, normally in normal situations, I won't say no to a client in a way because that will hurt the client's feeling. And this is not just client's feeling, it will hurt somebody's feelings as well, right? If that you try to imagine that you are looking for some help or some solutions, and somebody just tell you that no, you need to pay for me for more, or hey, it's not going to happen unless you blah blah blah. It's not just very rude, but in a way that you are not understand my situations. Then why should I come to you and ask for help, right? So being helpful sometimes is being understand the what the people is looking for. So there are a lot of the, I would say, difficult moments that I can think of when you ask me this question, say no to clients. But normally I would try to, instead of saying no, I would first of all ask them why you want to have this idea. And then I would just keep on following up to give them more options for them to work internally, or for them to rethink about their strategies before we move on. So yeah, that's my sharing. Yeah.
I think, yeah, thanks, Vincent, for quite an insightful one. I think you are the perfect person that mentioned very well on saying no. Same for me because you are in the creative industry, and there is always a certain expectation from your clients that are maybe unrealistic. in their head, maybe a very easy to explain example would be like filming from an iPhone and filming from a normal produced digital camera. They might not see the difference until the if we flag it out, and maybe talents could affect the how they see visually, and they might think that, oh, actually it's the same thing. And I feel that saying no is a perfect opportunity to educate them. It might not be, you might not gain the sale, but ultimately you educate the client and say, hey, totally understand like you have some resistance in terms of the price tag or certain things, but hey, at the very least, what you got from us is you got educated, you kind of understand how the industry works, and at least for me, 9 out of 10 clients are maybe first timers of getting a production to kind of shoot or to conceptualize things for them. So they might feel a bit foreign to them. And of course, you have to assume that they totally don't know. And I think that's where you build the connection, where you understand, oh, maybe this client have worked with other production company, or how was their experience. They might have very negative experience with previous customers. That's why they find you. And
Good
from
point.
there, you have to kind of understand their psychographic, like exactly why they feel that way, or maybe they might feel very resisted or resistance to certain process of the production, or they might want to be very controlled, very like super obsessed with certain things. And from there, you kind of should navigate. Are you willing to kind of like play in that particular scope that they are throwing to you with X amount of price that they are paying? If you can't cross over that particular line of like, nah, it's not worth the time and money, then it's your responsibility, which I think a lot of people don't do very correctly, is to help them find another solution, another alternative, or a cheaper alternative that you can still handle, or maybe you can handle, but you throw it to your interns or something just to execute it, so that you don't burn the time, you don't burn the relationship. But one way, because my agency or my own video production company is quite small, I'll usually redirect to a smaller scale production company where they may be able to execute for them at a lower cost. And I would say that, hey, compared to them, they definitely can handle based on your job scope. I don't say like based on quality. I think that is quite insulting to another person that I'm trying to toss the ball to. I would just say that for your price point, then they might be a better fit. But I will definitely hook them up in the sense that I'll create a WhatsApp group. I'll actually cross-introduce each other, like make sure that they are properly hand over first. Then maybe you can let go and let them do the talking.